Today we're going to talk about zipped files and compressed files, what they are and how you use them and why we even need them. So the best example I can think to give is to have several documents of paper, and if you were to take all these documents and lay them on your desk, they take up a lot of space on your desk. So that's the similar problem you have with computer files, is the space that they take up along with them being kind of messy. So if I take these documents and I fold them up, stack them and fold them, and then I put them in an envelope, they're a lot more compact. You still have all your documents, but now they're all in an envelope and they take up a lot less space and they're very organized. And if I want them, I can take them out of the envelope and separate them once again. So again, files in an envelope folded up nice and neat, that would be a zipped file. And when they're out and all separated and usable, then they would be unzipped. So the reason we need zip files, there's two primary reasons. One is to combine multiple files. So if you want to send someone a number of files, maybe you have 20 pictures that you want to send to someone, and rather than sending them all in separate file attachments, you could zip them up and put them all together in one file, or multiple Word documents, Excel documents, things of that nature. The second is for compression. So files take up space. Now images like JPEGs, GIFs, BMPs, PNGs, music files like MP3s, videos, things of that nature, those aren't really that compressible. But other files are, like Word documents and Excel documents and all of those kind of files. And so what happens is, if this is a file, you may have data in this file if you were to physically look at it, and there'll be empty spaces like this throughout the file structure. And it's just the nature of the way computer files are set up. So we may have two big empty spaces. So what happens is, by zipping the file and compressing it, it moves everything up to one block, and then you have room to maybe take a second file and put it in there, and it all takes up the same space as one file did. Different file types are compressible at different levels. So Word, Excel, text documents like a notepad document, those are very compressible files. And as I mentioned, images, sound, music, and video are not that compressible. Now when you get zipped files, you can have different formats. Of course, you can have the zip file that we're talking about. You can have RAR files, R-A-R. They could be gzip. And so there's a lot of different format files that can be compressed and joined together to make one file, and you have to decompress those. And so how do we do that? We do that with Windows. Has built-in zip utility, so you can extract most of the zip files. Over the years, there has been some changes in zip formats, so rarely anymore do you run into a compatibility problem, but in the the older days, 15 years ago, we did run into quite a bit of those compatibility problems, and you had to have certain formats of zip to unzip it. And so you can use the built-in Windows zip program to extract your files. You can use Unzip, which is a small, fairly inexpensive program that I also use, and I'll show you that in a moment. And you can also use a program called 7-Zip. And so there's different utilities that can do this for you. WinRAR does the RAR files. So I'll switch over to my computer and I'll show you how we use Unzip and the Windows extraction utility to both zip and unzip files. Now most of the time when you download files from places like Etsy, or if you've downloaded fonts or SVG files from some places, you may download those in a zip format and you have to unzip them before you can use them. So I'm going to show you two different ways you can do this. The first way I'm going to show you is using Unzip, which is what I use on my system. It is not a free program, so you have to buy it if you want to use that. I am a technical person, so I need a little bit more capability than most people do. So most people can get by with the Windows zip and extraction utility that is built into Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8, and so forth. So I'll show you Unzip. And so here I have a folder, and it has several files within that folder. And if I want to zip those into one file, and I want everything that's in that folder, I can simply right click on the folder and select WinZip, and I can say add to temp1.zip, which is the name of the folder. And then WinZip will tell me it was zipped up, how many files, and how much compression that I'd gained. And if I look at that file, properties, I'll see that it is one file, and if I double click on it, it will open in WinZip and show me the folder structure and the files that are inside of it. Now, just because I can see them here doesn't mean I can use them in my programs. I could double click on one and open it, but it's still zipped up in the format. So if I'm in Design Space and I want to browse to one of these files, I would have to unzip that first. So what I'll do, I'll get rid of this folder from my desktop. And then to extract this, I can right click on it and click WinZip, extract to folder, and by default it will create a folder by the same name as the file is. If I wanted, I could unzip it to here and it would unzip all the files right on my desktop, but I really wouldn't want that. I like to have mine organized into folders. So now you see the zipped folder, and when I open it up, you'll see all my files inside. Now we'll go over how to zip and unzip files with the built-in Windows utility. Now my icons and menus may look a little bit different because this system is running the Windows 10 Preview Edition. So, but the functions are going to be essentially the same. And so I have my folder again with my files inside. And if I want to right-click on that, I click to send to compressed zipped folder. And as you can see, it created a zipped folder. The icon is a folder with a zipper on it that shows that it's compressed. And if I hover over it, it shows me the same information as I showed you with the WinZip file. Now, as I showed you with WinZip, I'm going to delete the temp1 folder so that I only have the temp1 zip file. And the way that I would unzip this with Windows, again, if I double click on the folder, I can open it and see my files, but it's still a compressed folder. So I cannot access them with another program, such as uploading them to Design Space from this format. So if I right click on the folder and I click Extract All, it's going to ask me for the location. And so it's going to put this on my desktop in a folder called Temp1. If I want, I can leave this box selected so that it will open for me. So as you see, it opened the folder, and I can see up here at the top where the location is, and my files are all inside of there, and they are unzipped now. And if I look at my desktop, you'll see the folder as well as the zipped folder. Now, you don't have to keep these zipped folders. However, you may want to evaluate whether or not you want to keep them after you've unzipped your files. So if you've downloaded fonts or files you've purchased, you may want to keep those original zipped folders and use them on your backups and things, because if anything ever happens to your system, you won't be able to get those back again. So really think about whether or not you want to keep those before you get rid of them or not. If you're interested in my support services or consulting services, please visit my website at www.troyyoung.com for most current pricing information. Additionally, you can go to patreon.com/troyyoung to help support my channel. Hopefully my video has been helpful to you. If it has been, please subscribe to my channel, and by all means, please share my videos.